It's another South African political show, and today we're going to be discussing the progression of the events of Senzo Muchuno, the police minister, who has been given a compulsory leave of absence following serious allegations of links to organized crime. And with me to do that today is Mustafa Jinadu and Alex Voss. You guys are welcome to another South African.
Okay, thank you, Fabi. Who else? Is he the only one that's been suspended or somebody else too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically
I think
him. He's been sent
yeah,
on leave of absence.
yeah. And on our last show, we said that regardless of how much corruption in South Africa, as he did, was tied everybody's hands by leaking it to the in which people who kill political opponents are being covered up by Mutuno.
Ayo.
In, in some countries, this guy would be executed. In some countries, he'll be executed. In China or elsewhere, you'd be executed for covering up and abetting murder. Very serious crime. People don't realize how serious this is. This is why nobody in South Africa is safe because of this type of corruption. If drug dealers kill you or threaten you and they go to jail, this means the police and as far up as even the commissioner of police can help them get away with it, which means nobody is safe in South Africa. It's a very serious issue. Thank goodness Makwanazi released this, even though it could have even cost him his life. This is a good move by Ramaphosa by suspending him. We want to see this guy go to jail, as far as I'm concerned. Not because he's corrupt, but because to cover up murder means to keep a country in terrorism. What do you think, Afolabi?
I agree with you. This is a very bad one, and it's not looking nice at all. The accusations were actually made by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner, who claimed that Muchunu accepted bribes.
Makwanazi, right?
Yes, he claimed that Muchunu accepted bribes from criminal syndicates and interfered with investigations. In fact, there were a lot of criminal cases that were withdrawn under his watch. So, and that's a big allegation. And this is going to affect public trust in governance. And I dare say that even Ramaphosa himself might just be seen as being culpable. So he has to be very hard and he has to hold his stern position on this. And I think the decision to allow the guy go on a leave of absence is a good one to allow police carry out thorough investigations, basically.
Is he going to be paid in his leave of absence? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
We'll
think
see.
so.
Because I don't want this story to go away. And it's funny, I don't know, somebody leaked a WhatsApp to Makenazi because he didn't know about it when he wasn't at a meeting that he was supposed to be at, that they weren't keeping him. So I would love to know who is the person that sent him the screenshots in which they were uh, doing all of this, because Makenazi received these screenshots from an informant who was in those meetings, and he never knew what was going on. So this is a very strange case, but it seems like some other people were aware of this and brought it to his attention, and he handled it perfectly. What are your thoughts, Alex?
Yeah, I'm not really surprised about all this, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's decision to go for Rambo on live TV, flanked by masked cops and airing the SEB's dirty laundry was a very ballsy move. It felt like I was watching a Hollywood action movie. He was calling out, Senzo Mchunu and uh, Vusi, no, Ket are being silenced and or worse, South Africans, I am really behind him, but I'm also skeptical. Like, is there anything going to change? Like, even though he came out, he exposed them, is there anything going to change? You know? Kwanesi is brave, sure, but unless he's got an army of untouchables backing him, this could just be another loud bang in South Africa's endless corruption circus.
Yeah, most likely he's not going to be. I mean, most likely not much is going to be done. They'll punish some people because what will happen now is that the powers that be will be more careful to conceal themselves more, which is why I still blame the citizenry, not just of South Africa, any country. This corruption can only take place when
Yeah.
citizens allow it to take place. It doesn't take nobody's surprised that the South African police is covering up political assassinations. The U.S. government does it too. But the issue is that when you see a country in which poor don't have you don't have legal rights unless you're rich, the people need to stand up to do something about it. At the ground level, whoever you have proof there's corruption or not, when you're not seeing results, when you see rapes, you see beatings and stuff, and you see the government unable to deal with it, that shows you that there's corruption. So the Constitution needs to be changed in which certain rights are guaranteed and enforced. So these rights may be guaranteed in the Constitution, but they're not being enforced. So there needs to be a change in the system. I go back to socialism. There's no excuse for Black people in Western Cape to have to send their kids to white public schools because of safety. The schools in any school in South Africa, these should have all of the learning materials. The teachers should be paid well, and they should be safe. Forget about proving corruption. Whether there's corruption or not, there need to be results, and the people in South Africa have to push for those results. If you push for those results, it'll put pressure to end the corruption without people having to find the corruption. What do you think, Afolabi?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. The corruption is the main thing, and in a government of a government that is coalescing with the ANC, the DA, doesn't look well at all. It doesn't look good at all. Now, allegations that criminal networks have influenced high-level investigations, including police assassinations, are going to threaten the stability of the democratic institutions and the rule of law in South Africa. Now, if this is not taken care of properly, the decision will strain the government of coalition. There has to be, I think, a systemic reform in South Africa. The judiciary is compromised. The government itself is compromised. There is a lot of culpability in the hand of politicians joining with these criminal gangs, and everything is like a mafia, right from the top to the bottom. And some of these gangs are even used, by the government, and the government uses them for gains, from drugs and stuffs. And so they see that the hand of the government is in this. So this kind of thing has to be thoroughly investigated. Otherwise, there will be erosion of public trust. Infiltration of criminal networks will increase, as it has always been in South Africa. And the key parts of the police, judiciary, and political offices will be compromised as well. So they have to do something decisive here, not just sweep it under the carpet.
Yeah, and for example, in the KZN, there's some brothers who are very famous, and everybody knows.
And
go ahead, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to actually I wanted to talk about this crazy relationship between Senzo Mchunu and this Cat Matlala. As we all know, Senzo Mchunu, right, is the police minister. He is the big wig in the ANC. He's been in the game forever. He's a former KZN premier and is the current cop overseer, and a guy who's supposed to be keeping South African streets safe. But now he finds himself dodging accusations of playing with this crime syndicate and in KZN, where it's the hub of all criminal activities in South Africa, KZN. And then entered this Cat Matlala, who's a shady businessman and is a entrepreneur. He mostly makes his money from tenders. And he has a rap sheet that includes attempted murder, like you said, and money laundering charges. And also, he had a 360 million rand police contract until it was canned after his May 2025 arrest. That's when he started threatening Senzo, saying that, I know that I've lost my contract. You promised me this and this and that. I'm now going to expose you. And that's when they say the IDC that fights for corruption downloaded the messages from his phone and whatnot. It's really crazy that this is actually happening. 360 million rands. And I'm sure that didn't even go to the police. That didn't go to improving police, what in South Africa. It did not go there. And also this middleman named Brown Mohotsi, that Mchunu scuttled a task force probing political killings to shield his shady activities. And what's crazy is that Mchunu denied meeting ever meeting Matlala, even though there was that recording that got leaked on Twitter or X, that got leaked on X, showing that, they had actually met up before. They've been involved, they've been assassinating people, they've been covering up stuff, they've been involved in drugs, laundering, and all that. So this Cat Matlala was actually funding Senzo through the tenders, and now Senzo is not pulling through with the tenders anymore, and now he's exposing him as well.
Yeah, those
It's
tenders come
crazy
from the
that
government.
this is
Yeah.
real life.
And look, so KZN is known as a place. You have, what is it? It's spelled GCAB, the Kaba brothers, who involved with taxi.
All those ones.
Yeah, those guys are still in power. They're behind a lot of murders and stuff. And there's a lot of gangs in KZN. Young boys want to be like them. This goes back to the social economic system. Just like in most countries, like America, the black community in America is sustained by gang violence. The colored community in Cape Town is sustained by gang violence. And so these people are heroes in the community because they feed people and stuff to cover up for them and to do their dirt for them. So I don't know what the solution to this type of issue is. Gang violence is an issue that goes beyond just the government. The only way the government can solve this problem is by improving wealth in the community so that people have no motivation to support gangs. If your community is doing well, you're not going to support gangs because it's deadly. But that goes to the government because the government's eating all the money and there's nothing left. They're misappropriating the national resources and not building up these neighborhoods. So in these neighborhoods, gangs arise as the form of security and protection and well-being. What do you think, Afolabi? Afolabi.
They're still here.
Afolabi, you're on mute.
The person the person who's under the most pressure here is Cyril Ramaphosa, because they see this kind of action as they think he's handling it with levity. Opposition parties, including the Democratic Alliance and the EFF and MK, have criticized Ramaphosa. They feel that his actions are inadequate. They demand stronger actions. Critics argue that the commission could be stalling. Maybe it's a stalling tactic, giving the accused a paid holiday rather than delivering an immediate accountability.
Has he been arrested?
No, they just gave him like a leave of absence. It's like a sabbatical leave. And they think that they feel that is too mild. That is too mild. In fact, analysts view the scandal as a serious test for Ramaphosa's administration, especially within the fragile government of national unity. So there's a lot of pressure on Ramaphosa. And I think the next thing that will happen here is that the commission will hold hearings, collect evidence, and produce findings on the extent of organized crime within the state. And they're going to be looking at Ramaphosa and be thinking, is he really involved? Based on the actions, it doesn't look as if he's handling it the way he's supposed to. And political...
Well, you have to follow, but South Africa has a constitution. So they have a constitution, so I don't know what the procedure needs to be before he's charged with anything, because I don't know if they can charge him for murder or for corruption based just on those things that were released.
The first thing is to get the police to investigate the matter.
Yeah, so I won't say that he needs to be arrested yet, but if he's not arrested within a couple of weeks, then there's a problem.
Then there's a problem, yes.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's not like he's suspected of murder. He's suspected of covering up groups of people that may have been murdering, and we have to follow the money trail. Yeah. But to me, if he's not arrested very soon, he needs to be arrested with obstruction of justice.
Yeah, and I hope also that the police that is being tasked with this is not compromised, because that's what happens in Nigeria too. I hope they do a thorough job. I hope they're unbiased and they're neutral, and they actually carry out
yeah, so this suspension is okay initially while they investigate. But if he's not arrested in a few weeks, then I know there's a problem here. Yeah, because they have to probe first, because this is just accusations yet. They need to go through the process. All right, so I think we're good for now. I'll take us out, Afolabi. Thank you very much. Yeah. So we're going to continue with this. This is not the end of this.
Okay.
We're going to be back to see how this develops.
Yes, the story is still developing, and it's really hot right now. I think it's been another wonderful South African show. We've been discussing politicians' culpability in covering crime and burying it. And from Alex and Mustafa, we'll be back again sometime during the week.
All right, thank you. Bye.